Forget Melrose. 90210 was a joke. It's time to get real. You're listening to The Real Realtors of the 804 with Janice Taylor, Richmond's #1 award-winning realtor. Janice and the Taylor team are here to bring you answers, give you insight, and share their experience in the real estate world. And now, Janice Taylor.
Hey everybody, I'm Janice Taylor with The Real Realtors of the 804. Don't know what I'm doing, but I'm told to do this, so we are going to go for it. And we're going to get your attention, and we're going to show our new branding, and we're going to show the fun side of selling real estate in the 804, Richmond, Virginia. I would love to introduce my team, an integral part of the team, Janice Taylor with RE/MAX Commonwealth, David Ogle, my son-in-law.
How you doing?
And Jennifer Ogle, looking here, sorry. And Jennifer Ogle, my daughter. So a little bit about our team. I started into real estate 43 years ago. Didn't want to say that number, but everybody said I had to. And I was 12. Anyway.
12?
I was 12.
You were 12?
Yeah. I was
Wow.
a savant in real estate. Still am to this day. Although I'm an old savant, okay? Anyway, background on me a little bit. Graduated with a degree in elementary education.
Were you a teacher?
Kindergarten teacher.
No.
Yep. Back in the day. These teachers today don't know what they missed back in the day. Anyway, got a master's degree in education. And after my children were born, I decided to branch out a little bit, quit my full-time job, and try to make a little bit of money in real estate. First in real estate, I made more money than I did teaching with a master's degree. And I thought, this is not so bad. Yeah, my children were little. I put them in their car seat, took them on my appointments, and showed houses and marketed to friends and neighbors. And it was just, a piece of cake for me. I love being with people and love being with little children too, but it was just a little bit easier.
Who got you into real estate? Like who'd you bump into? And
That's a great question. My husband and I were building our second home, and a realtor who was representing us, I asked him, I said, this looks really cool. And there weren't that many women in real estate at the time. And basically he said, it is, but you'll never make it in real estate. It's just for men. Sounds very antiquated.
Yeah, jumping into this just real quick, when you work with your mother-in-law and they decide to name the podcast The Real Realtors of the 804, you kind of get a feel for what it's like to be the only guy in the group. So it's one of those things where I'm trying to figure it out, and as she talks about these ladies in real estate, you'll never find anybody better that ran with it right from the beginning and kind of took off.
To David's point, to those of you who know a little bit about the Bravo channel, it's my outlet. It's Jennifer's outlet. Mm-hmm. It's maybe mindless TV, but we love Bravo. So that's where we got our name.
Have you watched the Netflix, The Real OC, or the Selling Sunset?
No. Cannot wait to see that.
Oh my gosh, guys.
I watch no real estate shows.
No.
These guys,
this is not real estate.
Yeah.
This is like 10% real estate and then 10% view of like it's the unreal type of scenario of real estate.
Yeah, I'll watch that about as much as Janice will watch football on Sundays.
I'm learning football.
Well, there's a lot of eye candy too. So there's a lot of eye candy.
Well, my heroes are the $1 million listing people. And I've actually had the opportunity, Jennifer and I did, to meet them, interact a little teeny bit with them, and hope to do a little bit more interaction. I stalk them constantly. So anyway.
What did you think when you first sold your first home?
It was, just kind of magic. I mean, it was so wonderful to represent buyers at the time. It was my first sale was representing buyers. Back then we didn't have so much of agency disclosure, and all of that. It was more, whatever you could put your hands on, whether it was a listing or a sale. But it was, just a lot of due diligence, and, the prep is still the same as it was then. You take your principles of real estate, you take your classes, but that's not the real directive. I mean, it really is the experience. And, it takes a village to put it all together these days for somebody to be successful in real estate, I think.
And back then, you really had to get a hold of the listings to control kind of the market and the buyers that were out there, right?
I didn't realize that at first, though. I mean, once you get into some coaching and some, other real estate groups, they let you know that the listings are kind of the lifeline, and keeping a, keeping a pipeline going for the listings. So back when I started, it was really more of, just not controlling, but representing one person. You would get them involved. Everything was a contingent sale back then, believe it or not. I hate to say back then, but anyway, I guess I will. Everything was contingent. You would write a contract. It was subject to the sale of somebody's home. That was just understood. And there were no right of first refusals. There were no, having your pre-qualification letter saying that you could buy without selling your home. So it was just a given that houses were selling, but it was also 17% interest rates at the time.
Wow.
So, y'all don't even heard that before.
Well, houses were a lot cheaper back then, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think my car was more expensive than my first house. So anyway, I drive a nice car, but I don't have a Rolls Royce or anything. So, but yeah, and also one little, tidbit. When my husband and I first went to get our first home, I was a school teacher, and they would not use my income to qualify. Women could not be used as income because you could get pregnant, have a child, and quit your job. And so they would not allow. And I sat there and literally questioned the whole thing. Maybe that was the beginning of my women's rights. I don't know, but it was just unheard of for them to count a women's income.
I'd say those times have changed quite a bit, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So Jennifer, speaking of that, what was it like to grow up with your mom? Kind of every day, out in the car, traveling with her, doing everything.
Living in a car seat. Cutting out black and white squares from MLS books that were as thick as a phone book to paste for her, appointments and things like that.
That's the kindergarten teacher piece of it.
Yeah, exactly. Started my artistic path. Lots of phone calls. Lots of, hey, look at me. You're on the phone all the time. I did not want to get into real estate, and I didn't, but we can get into that later. And I ended up marrying one, and here I am working here.
Did you know that was going to, this was going to happen? Did you have any clue?
No.
No.
No. No. But it's all worked out great.
So when did that all happen?
So I think I disappointed the family as Jennifer and I get engaged, and I'm supposed to go back to dental school.
Wait. What?
Yeah. So I
Did
moved back.
you go to dental school for a while?
No, I started taking classes. I was pre-med in school. I was a pharmaceutical rep directly out of school, and kind of went into it and said, hey, I want to go back to school, want to go to dental school. Had this great fiance, had a great future in-laws.
How old were you?
23, 24,
Yeah.
right in that range. And Janice.
Wow, your life would have been completely different. You
totally
do realize
different.
that?
Totally different. And
Our
totally
kids would have had
disappointing
free
in some
braces.
ways, right? Free braces, free dental care. That
Health
would have been
insurance.
quite nice. But the funny part about it was Janice said, hey, I'll give you the schedule you need to take classes for dental school to get in and out. And
I think that started because I was complaining about your schedule at Best Buy.
yeah, that probably was part of
Wait,
it.
you worked at Best Buy? This story gets better and better.
I had to have some kind of income, right, as I was taking classes. So I was in retail at the Best Buy as it opened in the middle of Short Pump.
Wait. Short Pump here?
Yes. Yeah. that
He was
Best
on the
Buy.
fast
I
track for
opened it.
management, too.
Yeah. Moving right up in the Best Buy world. But
We want
retail
a free
was
big
not
screen
the option
TV
for
at
me.
family night.
Yeah. Hey, let me tell you something. Working Black Friday at Best Buy, that day goes by quick.
That's what I said.
Probably
You
quicker
can't
than
do
most
this
real estate
anymore.
days. But yeah, so we went to dinner one night, and it was funny as I kind of was working part-time in marketing for Janice and helping with some of the listings. I said, we went to dinner. I'm pretty sure it was Olive Garden.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the Olive Garden. And
good memory.
I'm not even sure I checked with Jennifer on this first.
No.
Good breadsticks.
Yeah, great breadsticks, good soup. That was about what we could afford at the time. And I remember looking at Janice and Bobby, my father-in-law, and saying, hey, there's a lot of opportunity that, people that you just can't, clients, listings, leads, all of those things that you can't keep up with, because I see this huge business that she's grown over, her time. I said, I think I can come to work for you. I think I can make you twice as much as what you pay me during that first year. And I'd love to try it. And that kind of opened the door. She gave me that shot.
I kicked him hard under the table.
Yeah, the dentistry thing, seemed like a 6
We
to
always thought
7
that
year
was on the
path.
back burner. But
Yeah. So it evolved quickly.
And then-
And mainly because of the business that she had grown. And, it was all there to kind of jump into. She had a couple assistants that worked with her as well that were really good. One was licensed. And we kind of took off as a couple buyer's agents together. And that
And
was
then
how...
talk about how you lured your brother-in-law into it.
Well, I didn't do that. I did not bring him into it. But the market in 04, 05, 06
Yeah.
was pretty hot. So it was a
Yeah.
great time to step in and grow the team with another member, which was Janice's
our
son, Carrie.
Yeah, he graduated from tech and, just kind of couldn't get in any sales jobs or anything like that right out of school without experience. So I said, hey, why don't you come work for us again for, a little while? And he and David hit it off, and, they started kind of tag teaming buyers as I would, give them some leads, and they were just phenomenal with it. Again, no big arguments that I remember, no big silence.
No, I mean, we get
silent
along in the
treatment.
office pretty darn well, And we still talk.
Everyone stays in their lane, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's not here right now, notice. So he after 10 years, was it 10 years?
I don't know. It was,
8
yeah,
years.
somewhere in that range.
He just said, you know what? I want to go to the tech games. I don't want to have to come home on Sunday and do open houses. I need my weekends back. I'm going to go into medical sales. And we went, okay, good, but you're going to be traveling a lot, which he is now, but he does love his life. And it was probably the hardest thing I think he's ever tell his mom and dad, but it worked out great. And David took over the reins for everything and has done phenomenal.
What the clients that you have, tell me about them and why, what's so good about?
I would say our clients are like our family as well. We've kind of chosen collectively to stay a small boutique type, team. There are times, believe me, we go to all the RE/MAX conventions, pretty involved with all the RE/MAX networking, and you get there and you just get these stars in your eyes like, wow, let's get up to that team of 10. Let's get up to that team of 20. Let's do it. And then we come back and go, is that our comfort level? Because we just like the touchy-feely, it's all about the net in real estate. You can have 20 buyer's agents and, 10 admin. And, we don't really look at the number. I mean, obviously we look at the numbers, but we don't really say, hey, we have to grow to this amount, And I think our comfort level has been successful for us, and it's definitely, our clients are like our family, and I think we'd like to say we stay in touch with all of them. We do our activities several times a year to bring them back into the office and talk with them, and most of them, I mean, it's a relationship really, and most of our business is really from referral, based on our referrals.
Yeah, repeat and referral are kind of our main background.
Yeah.
We don't do a lot of cold calling. We don't do a lot of kind of scripted calls, things like that. It's not that. But, Janice, I would say, was the first person in Richmond to really establish a real estate team. It was a team before teams were a thing. Now you've got 20, 30-person teams. We were a small group. She had a couple assistants, added a buyer's agent, added me, added her son, and that grew, to as big as we've ever been with 3 buyer's agents. And then Janice handling most of the listings and a little bit of the buyers. But she was a team before there were teams in Richmond.
Well, and probably, luckily, we really kind of took the bull by the horns and did some branding from the beginning. And when Regal Cinema...
Well, you're the first, I've only been in the game doing real estate pictures and videos for 10 years. And you're the first person that I saw the truck on the side of the...
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's interesting.
Before that,
Before
she put her
that.
face on a huge movie screen. And that was like our original podcast, right?
You think you made it then, right?
Dude, she was up on a movie screen. It was pretty cool.
I mean, we advertised at Regal Cinema when it first came out, and I'd make
How much did they charge you for that?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember. It was a couple $100, I think, only something like
nominal
that.
for
It
what
was
it
very
was,
nominal. And that was when they had all the local, advertisement before
Yeah.
the the previews for everything. And I think I was the only one on the screen at Regal Cinema for quite some time, and
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. And
The grandkids thought it was cool.
yeah.
Well, the other part that was interesting about it is a lot of times with our branding and our marketing, people would just like, we see you everywhere, Janice. With that, we see you everywhere would be, how did you find out about us?
That's pretty good
And,
for back in the day.
Yeah, it was one of those things where you couldn't always pinpoint it. They didn't know where they saw her in some cases, but it was the movie theater. It was the truck, the side of the truck
Right.
driving by them.
It was also a billboard, which I didn't have. There was a realtor in town that advertised on the billboard on 64 that had blonde hair. Oh my gosh, I saw you on the billboard. I went, thank you. You know, I didn't say it wasn't me, but people thought that from a distance. I mean, it was before digital.
Driving so fast, you can't really. I think it was Janice.
She was much younger.
Didn't
It must
see the
have been
name. I just saw a
airbrushed.
blonde lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never admitted it wasn't me.
That in the truck, which any of my buddies that we worked with or didn't work with would see the truck driving around and want to add a mustache to me. They would want to let me know that what was I in a red shirt?
No,
yellow.
you were bright yellow.
Yellow
Bright
shirt,
yellow.
bright yellow
We
shirt.
had jewel
because,
tone shirts on the back of the truck picture.
again, this theme to the real realtors of 804 goes way back. I had jewel tones.
I have to give credit to Jennifer on that.
Yeah.
That sat with me for a good day after you mentioned it.
What
And I
happened
was-
to me on the back of the truck?
No. The intro, the name of the podcast.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Kudos to Jennifer on
I
that.
was
Well,
like,
it has to do with the obsession of
but I was like,
Bravo.
it just sat so well with me. I was like, all right, that's it.
Well, we knew it must have been good for you because you called your director guy
Eddie.
and said, what do you think about this? He said, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
So
we are headed off to BravoCon in 1 month. So
Oh,
we'll
so-
podcast about that later.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Jennifer, to go on with that truck story, share a little bit about your picture on the truck.
Wait, you were on the truck too? Was everyone on the truck?
Everybody
So
was on the
everyone
truck.
was on the truck in quite like a pyramid type of scheme. But I was not originally on the truck. We had a wonderful assistant who was, Kristen was here for a while. She ended up having triplets, which, you know, God bless her. And
unfortunately kept her from coming back to work.
yes, of course. And so she was on the truck for some time, and I guess I was becoming a little bit more of a permanent fixture on the team. So I said, why don't we put you on the truck? Well, I was very pregnant at that time as well, and somehow got a picture of my face and superimposed it on
Kristen's body.
Kristen's body. Kristen is tall, and I'm not that tall, so it looked a little off. But
Nobody else knew.
my head was on her body for years and years on the back of that truck.
It was a team picture.
It was a team.
Luckily, Kristen was at the end, and we were able to superimpose her face on the body. So
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so photoshopping worked well with not having to redo the whole back of the truck.
Correct. Correct. Yep.
Janice, tell the story about the photo I sent you with all the stuff in the bedroom.
oh my gosh. Okay, so Michael does have a sense of humor, and he knows how obsessive I am about details in our photos. God bless him. He answers
Michael
my
is our-
calls at midnight, at 1 o'clock, my emails. Why is this orange? And I'm going through the photos of a house that we had just done in probably July. Was it maybe? I don't know.
remember. It was-
Definitely was not Christmas time.
holiday
It was that
time.
one, yeah.
And when I went through the photos, I literally came across a picture that had so much junk in it. And I thought, how did this get through? How did I not edit all this out for the photo? Because as everyone probably knows, we're very detail oriented on our staging and all of that. And I thought, what is this? How did this photo get in here? And literally, when I took a second look, it is Christmas decorations all around a bedroom. And
Christmas
I
in
thought,
July.
Copy machine,
what
an extra
happened?
couch.
Yeah, I know, furniture, Christmas trees, boxes. And I thought, I had no idea. To this day, I still don't know how he did it, but I also didn't know he was that talented to be able to really dumbfound me on that. So
It did look
I
very
called him and
realistic,
said, where did this come from?
We were just getting into virtual staging, and so
Yes.
Eddie was playing around with it and stuff. And I think it was a day that you were like super anal about the pillows on the bed. And I was like,
a
Which
day of that?
day was that?
and so I was like, all right, she deserves a little razzing. And so I told Eddie, I said, take this photo and throw everything in the kitchen sink in it.
Oh
I
my
think there was a
I
kitchen
mean,
sink.
I know. That was priceless. I mean, that was priceless. Yeah.
So I thought it was pretty funny, basically. to mess around with you. And
So funny, Michael. So funny. Hey, anybody that emails me back at 1 a.m, you can fool me.
I was told that I'm like the only photographer that does that.
Yeah.
You don't even know how late I wait up and wait for that email to come in for the photos.
Well, if I didn't have kids, you'd get a lot sooner.
I know. No, that's
And if you
fine.
wondered if Janice really checks the pictures and goes through them piece by piece, it is an experience to have her go through pictures on a day and pick
nauseating.
them out.
Yeah.
So she is highly involved from beginning
I try
to
to
end.
wean them down so she can't like pick because I used to be like, oh, I'll just give everything and then they can choose, and that like for you is a recipe to disaster. It's like taking someone to a buffet and saying, okay, you can only have 3 of them.
Oh, you should see me in the moment right now going through my granddaughters, their daughter's senior pictures. Oh my gosh. I think we've had 300. I had to
Spectacular event.
I had to leave the photographer session the other day and said, this is too
This is one of
overwhelming.
those things that I avoid completely. So there's certain things I'll
I got a
attend.
listen and go show.
Yeah, I got to work, Janice. You good with that?
Oh my goodness. Anyway. So for those of you who don't know about the pictures and the background for MLS, we do get to choose 50 pictures to go into multiple listing, and Michael gives us 100, which is fabulous because I literally go over his shoulder during the photography session and say, please don't forget this angle, don't forget that angle. Please don't ever take a picture of a toilet. If it's a new lighting, I need a picture of the lighting. Do not take a picture of the toilet. And I don't care if it's open or closed or whatever. Don't take a picture.
I don't do that. I definitely get stumped on like when you guys change fixtures. It's like I don't
Which
know
one is new?
What's new? What's
I don't know.
I know.
It's not saying like, hey,
we need to give
I'm
you more
brand new
background.
here.
Yeah.
You know.
No,
So-
you do. You're our guy. You do the best for us. That's
I try.
For sure.
I try.
Yeah. So, except for when we have hardwood floors and dark cabinets,
And the sun.
then you do.
The
and
sun is beating through the kitchen.
When a house turns pink, it can't even be
I
posted.
can't tell you. I have
Pink,
I have
orange.
I have a setting for Janice only.
I know. It's great. We have to gray everything up in this moment in time.
It's called pain in the butt.
I thought it was gray in the butt.
Those colors change through the years.
Yeah.
The gray
Yes.
used to be beige. It used to be other
Yeah.
colors.
Well,
but
agreeable gray, like
It's still sticking around.
it's still sticking around.
Yeah. For
But-
real estate, for new construction, it's all white.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's
It's white cabinets, and so that can get kind of sketchy for me taking photos on time of day because things
Yeah.
come out a little yellow, and it's like you have to white balance it as best you can and stuff.
right.
Well, back to the gray and all the colors that we do. We did make some, thrift stores and Goodwill very happy yesterday.
Yes.
Jennifer and Bobby, my husband, who's not on the podcast, but spent the better part of the day cleaning out 5 storage units with items that we don't use anymore.
Well, you bought some of them from me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we did. We still have those.
Yeah.
that was a good
Good
stuff.
furniture.
if anybody knows Janice, the challenge with her letting go of things, getting rid
Yeah,
of things,
it's
is
tough.
probably a bit difficult.
Yeah.
So how did that go yesterday?
We had the
Jennifer?
we had the car pretty full, and we had to go back in and pull some things
There
out.
were some things I saw they loaded that I went, no, we'll use that. We'll use
It's
that
all
someday. Yeah.
outside
Yeah.
to review, but anyway.
There's a high likelihood that they won't be used again.
They like to do it
Just
without
wasn't
me.
time to let
Yeah.
go.
You should write a date on like when you
That's
use the
right.
last, and you're like, all right,
I'm gonna
any-
start doing that. That's a good idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I mean, when I started doing the whole staging thing, I was like, oh, I can definitely make this a side business on top of it. So,
I remember when you did
know.
started
and
that.
I did it for a year.
Yes,
I did
you
it for a year, and I spent some money on it, and
Oh, yeah.
Right.
and then the storage unit had a truck that you could use cheap.
Sure.
So I just booked it every time.
Right.
And then I had a friend that worked at Amazon that actually had buddies that he would just pick that day scheduled,
Right.
and then they would be the movers. And I think it cost me like $100 for them
Right.
or something, like $150. And then the staging side of it. But what was the challenging part was I had a lot of furniture that they just wanted to use a table. And so I had to charge them longer, that if it was going to be at that location for a month or two or whatever, that I'd have to keep track of where these furniture is.
Right.
And it got really confusing
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
quick.
I think there's a lot to it. That's definitely going to be a topic that these
Yeah.
guys can cover for.
That's why we got in.
one or two
started
podcasts.
our own
It's a big
staging
deal.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but
No,
that's
you're
why
good.
we started our own staging business. I mean, to your point, and not your staging company, but the ones we had used prior to, you know, using some of yours was just, they were wonderful, but they weren't on our timeline. If the house didn't sell, our sellers had to pay more money to, you know, keep the furniture in the house. You know, then we started supplementing, hey, let's just use the furniture and use our own pictures. But then we had to wait for them to rent a truck. And then we just said, you know what? Let's use our moving van, turn it
do
into
in-house.
We just did everything in-house, so we have control of everything now. So,
Yeah,
you know.
For me, it just got too. It was another business in itself. That
Yeah.
was so I don't know how you decided or how it came about that you bought all the furniture.
Yeah, I think when you guys decided, you know, to kind of get out of it,
I think we had
Your
some
girl.
accent pieces, but we didn't
Right.
have the sofa, the table, the
right.
dining chairs, which you had.
yeah.
Yeah, and then we just went virtual staging. So, which is, I'm still, you know, it's still good because I can change it on the fly.
That's right.
Right.
And I don't have to worry about getting a truck.
We don't virtual stage
No.
anymore.
Yeah, once or twice I think we
Yeah, we did.
tried
We
it.
did.
And
We
tried.
it gives an idea on these vacant houses. I think it all depends on the market, right? Is the houses don't sit even if they're vacant now.
Right.
But when they did, you had to have a reason to show room sizes, to show how furniture fit in them, and that was
Well, things didn't move
something
as
that we
quick.
tried. Correct. Yeah,
Right.
totally different market.
Yeah, and so even if there's a small house, it's a rancher that's like, oh, this is going to be on the market for like 2 weeks, maybe virtual staging, one
Yeah.
or two rooms
Oh,
would be
yeah.
good,
Definitely.
to flare it up a little bit.
Right.
But
Yeah, and that's some people have that creativity as a buyer to walk in and see what a room can be, where furniture can fit, and things like that. And some people can't. So that take of a vacant house versus a furnished house, I think, has a lot to do with the market that we're in as much as
Right.
anything else. Is when things are selling fast, the vacant houses sell.
do you remember the listing that had the screening porch that had all the garbage that I took out?
Oh my gosh.
Jean.
Yes.
Wasn't that
Unbelievable.
Jean? No. Yeah, Jean's house.
It was in Dimwitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
really
right.
south.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? He
I
was
mean,
great.
and you edited it all out.
Right.
Unbelievable. I know.
Well, that was after
just
we
like-
told
That was
him
a challenge.
what needed to be gone from the house, so it ended up out
Oh,
there.
in Petersburg. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a challenge.
It was
Yeah.
that porch was huge, and it was staged for their yard sale. So little did we know when we asked him to edit all the stuff out of each room, he was going to put it in that room. He didn't tell us that was what it was going to
Right.
be, and it was just an integral part of the house for the photography. So
Right.
you
The
did good
backyard.
on that. I think people who saw the house probably bought more of the yard sale stuff.
I know.
But the house did sell quickly. We accomplished what we needed to do from that referral agent. So, yeah. So anyway, we could go on and on. I was really leery about starting
bit
this and
nervous.
what kind
Rip
of
that Band-Aid off.
content, what we would do, and are we worthy of y'all listening to us? And hopefully we were. We'll be back for another podcast. We hope you.
What's the name? What's the name?
The name is The Real Realtors of the 804.
And how are they going to find us?
Jennifer, I'm gonna leave that to you. You're our social media girl.
You're gonna like and subscribe.
Yes.
And don't forget to hit that bell so you have alerts when we post another podcast, which we're hoping to record soon.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for
Well,
listening.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
watching
Thanks
and
so much.
listening.
We hope you've enjoyed today's episode of The Real Realtors of the 804. If you have a question you would like to ask Janice or her team, please reach out to them at realtorsofthe804@gmail.com or 804-921-9995.